New Zealand. Far out in the southwestern corner of the Pacific Ocean, beyond thousands of kilometers of open water, lie two emerald giants and hundreds of smaller islands. They were the last major habitable lands on Earth to welcome human footsteps, and today they form a nation unlike any other, a place where two very different worlds have blended into one shared identity. This is a country of sheep-dotted hillsides and fierce rugby matches, of the haka's thunderous stomp and the serene silence of fjords. It's where filmmakers found Middle-earth, and where the first sunrise of each new year brushes the horizon. Welcome to New Zealand, remote, stunning, and unforgettable. The land of the long white cloud. Long before Europeans ever knew these islands existed, Polynesian navigators arrived around the 13th century. Their descendants, the Maori, named the land Aotearoa, the land of the long white cloud, inspired by a legend of Cupid's wife spotting the distinctive clouds that signaled land ahead. Centuries later, in the 1600s, Dutch explorers charted the coastline and christened it after the Dutch province of Zeeland. The name evolved to New Zealand, but Aotearoa remains deeply woven into the country's identity, and debates over whether it should officially replace or join the English name still stir public opinion. Geography on the edge of the world. New Zealand's two main islands, the North Island, Te Aikea Maui, the Fish of Maui, and the South Island, Te Waipounamu, Waters of Greenstone, are separated by the Cook Strait, barely 22 kilometers wide at its narrowest. Add Stewart Island and some 700 smaller isles, and the total land area comes to about 270,000 square kilometers, just a little smaller than the British Isles. The South Island is a masterpiece of mountain and sea, dominated by the Southern Alps, whose highest peak, Mount Cook, towers at 3,700 meters. Here, glaciers once carved deep fjords that still cut into the west coast. The North Island is warmer, dotted with volcanoes, and home to Lake Taupo, the caldera of a supervolcano that erupted about 27,000 years ago. New Zealand sits on the collision zone between the Pacific and Australian tectonic plates, making earthquakes a part of life. The Christchurch quake of 2011 remains the costliest natural disaster in the nation's history, with $40 billion NZD in damages. A climate of contrasts. Thanks to surrounding oceans, New Zealand enjoys mild winters and pleasantly warm summers. The South Island's west coast receives torrents of rain, feeding one of the planet's few temperate rainforests, while the eastern plains often verge on semi-arid. North Island enjoys gentler rainfall patterns, and across the country, weather can change dramatically in a single day. Nature without predators, until humans came. For millions of years, no land mammals roamed these islands, and birds evolved to fill nearly every ecological niche. The giant, now extinct moa could stand 3.6 meters tall. But when people arrived, so did predators, rats, stoats, cats, devastating ground-nesting bird populations. One survivor became a symbol, the kiwi, a shy, flightless bird whose name now affectionately applies to the people of New Zealand themselves. People and culture. Today, just over 5 million people call New Zealand home, one of the world's lowest population densities. About 70% have European ancestry, 16% are Maori, and growing Asian and Pacific Islander communities add to the cultural mix. English is the main language, Maori is an official second language, and the Kiwi accent is distinct, even if outsiders sometimes confuse it with Australian. New Zealand is highly secular, with nearly half the population reporting no religion. Its political system is a parliamentary democracy within the Commonwealth, with a ceremonial monarch in the UK and real governance handled by elected representatives in Wellington. The economy. Once dominated by agriculture, New Zealand's economy has shifted toward services, though dairy, meat and other farm exports remain important. Tourism, boosted by the Lord of the Rings films, is now a major economic pillar, drawing travelers eager to see Middle-earth's landscapes in real life. The local currency, the New Zealand dollar, reflects a stable, prosperous nation ranked among the world's freest societies. National symbols. The flag bears the Union Jack and the 4 red stars of the Southern Cross. The coat of arms pairs a Maori chief with a European woman, standing beside symbols of agriculture, trade, and the nation's natural beauty. Fern fronds frame the design, a nod to one of New Zealand's most recognizable plants. The Kiwi spirit. If one sport defines New Zealand, it's rugby. The All Blacks, among the most feared teams in the world, begin each match with the haka, a traditional Maori war dance performed with fierce expressions and rhythmic chants. It's part intimidation, part cultural pride. And beyond sports, the country's creative industries have made a global mark, from award-winning films to world-class visual effects. Filmmaker Peter Jackson's Middle-earth epics turned New Zealand into a cinematic legend. Remote yet deeply connected to the world, New Zealand is a land where mountains rise from the sea, cultures intertwine, and nature still commands respect. Whether you come for the landscapes, the people, or the stories, Aotearoa leaves its mark.